For the last 20 years, the rules for getting found online have been pretty simple. You just had to get good at SEO. Well, that entire game is being rewritten as we speak. Today, we're going to talk about this massive shift, away from traditional search engine optimization to something totally new, a concept that's going to define who wins and who loses in the age of AI.
So here's the big assumption, the one that almost every marketer and founder is working with right now. And it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're number one on Google, you're the authority, you've done the work. And AI should see that and just use your information. Simple. But it turns out that assumption is completely, fundamentally wrong. And not understanding why it's wrong is quickly becoming a huge problem for brands that thought they were totally safe.
What this really means is we have to rethink the whole idea of discovery. The goal isn't just to rank number one anymore, because in this new world of AI-generated answers, having that top spot doesn't guarantee a single person will ever see you.
Just stop and think about that for a second. We're talking millions of people right now using tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's new AI overviews to get an instant answer. They're not scrolling through 10 blue links. The search is literally over before it even begins.
And this is what happens. Generative AI is essentially the new front page of the internet. And in the process, it's just quietly skipping right over brands that spent years, maybe even millions building up their SEO. Suddenly, your competitor who was buried on page 2 of Google might be the star of the show in the AI's answer.
So why is this happening? Well, there's this thing we're calling the AI discovery gap. And it perfectly explains why all that hard work you did in the old world might not mean anything in this new one.
Okay, this gets right to the heart of it. It's not that the AI can't see your brand, it's that it can't verify it. If an AI can't piece together a confident, consistent story about who you are, then as far as it's concerned, you basically don't exist in its map of the world.
You have to remember, these AI models are terrified of being wrong or making things up. So when they look at your brand, they're asking these really basic questions. If the answers are fuzzy or if they find conflicting info, the AI just hesitates.
Now, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. AI doesn't just rank a web page based on some technical signals. No, it pulls information from all over the web to build what it thinks is the most coherent story, the most believable narrative. So if your story is fragmented, your About Us page says one thing, some reviews says another, and your product descriptions are vague, the AI does the safest thing it can do. It leaves you out. It will choose your competitor with a clearer story every single time. All right, so if the old playbook of SEO is broken, what's next? We can't just give up. We need a new way of thinking. And that means we have to shift our entire focus from SEO to this new thing called GEO. This really lays it all out. On the left, you've got the old world, SEO. It was all about gaming the system with things like keywords and backlinks to climb the rankings. But on the right, you have the new world, GEO. And it's all about the fundamentals. How clear is your message? How consistent is your story? And how credible are you? It's a huge shift.
So what exactly is GEO? It stands for Generative Engine Optimization. And put simply, it's all the work you do to make it dead simple for an AI to understand who you are, what you do, and why you matter, so it can confidently talk about you.
So the goal here is pretty simple. Your visibility isn't just about having content anymore. It's about creating content that is incredibly useful and absolutely clear. When you combine those two things, that's what builds real authority in the mind of an AI model.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how do you actually do this? How do you put it into practice? Let's switch gears from the what to the how and talk about what it actually means to build for clarity.
When brands are invisible to AI, we see the same 3 problems pop up again and again. First, their positioning is just fuzzy. Second, they're missing what we call answer pages. And third, their credibility signals are weak or all over the place. These are the main reasons even great brands get ignored. Let's start with those answer pages. See, AI models love, and I mean love, content that makes their job easier by resolving ambiguity. So a detailed page that honestly compares your product to a few competitors, that's not just a blog post. To an AI, that's a perfect structured piece of data that helps it map out your entire industry and exactly where you fit. Next up, specific use cases. It's not enough anymore to just list your features. You have to show who your product is for and the exact problem it solves for them in a real-world situation.
This gives the AI critical context, helping it connect what you do to a real human need. That's the kind of logic it's trying to build. And finally, the most direct method of all, a great, comprehensive FAQ page. Seriously, think of this as giving the AI a cheat sheet for your brand. By clearly answering the most common questions, you're not just helping your customers, you're handing the AI a clean, trusted source of truth it can use.
All right, with all of this in mind, what's the very first thing you should do? Before you go and redo your whole content strategy, you need to know where you stand today. It's all about getting a clear baseline.
And figuring this out is actually pretty simple. First, you just identify your brand and your main competitors. Then, you can run a bunch of tests, asking different AI models questions about your category to see what they say about you versus them. And from that, you can get a clear report and a simple plan.
A really good baseline audit like this should give you 4 things: a snapshot of how you look to AI right now, a deep dive into what sources the AI is using and what it's missing, a short, prioritized list of the biggest things to fix, and a simple 30-day plan your team can actually get done.
And really, it all comes down to this one critical question. Forget rankings, forget keywords, just ask yourself, if a potential customer asks an AI for help in your category, would it confidently recommend you? If you hesitate, even for a second, that's where you need to start.
Because at the end of the day, we are entering a world where a straight answer is worth more than a list of links. And in that world, being the clearest, most understandable, and most credible brand isn't just a nice little bonus. It is the single biggest competitive advantage you can possibly have.